It's your boy Def, the TDF.
It's to die for.
And today I just want to go ahead and talk about I just want to talk about TDF, something that I've been thinking about. And it's basically the use of the word troublesome. Because I know in the first video that I made, I was telling you guys that TDF stood for troublesome, def, finesse. And basically the reason I decided to put troublesome in there is because with the level of knowledge and wisdom that you gain and decide to utilize in certain situations, is automatically going to make you troublesome to the people that keep trying to fuck you over, keep trying to one-up you, keep trying to play you. And honestly, I do think that's a good explanation for its use. But at the same time, the problem is that troublesome is still a negative word, a negative connotation. And honestly, it's not a good idea to use it because that can be used against us. The literal definition for troublesome is causing difficulty or annoyance. So yeah, I don't think it's wise to use that word to identify us, because people could manipulate the definition, or it could just give people the wrong idea. Or not the definition, I'm sorry, the actual word. Because think about it, somebody telling you that they're troublesome, it's just like, come on, you low-key can't even take them seriously. You know, troublesome is something that you use for little ass kids and shit. So yeah, we just gonna have to go ahead and scrap that. I'm not fucking with the troublesome shit no more. So I went ahead and found another word that starts with T that's gonna fit in real nicely. And it's tireless. 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 Okay, and the literal definition for tireless, just from looking at the word, is infinite energy. And obviously there's no such thing as somebody that has an infinite amount of energy, so we're not going to use it in the literal sense. The dictionary definition is having or showing great effort or energy. And honestly, tireless rhymes much better with finesse anyway, so that shit fits in much better. So being tireless just means that you consistently put in the effort required to do something, to the point that it seems as if you don't even get tired when you're doing it, you know what I'm saying? But it's not that you don't get tired, it's just that you're doing something that interests you, something that you're passionate about, or something that you know will benefit you in the long run. So you're setting yourself up nicely. That's why you're tirelessly working at whatever it is that you're working on. When can you be tireless? You can be tireless in all aspects of your life. You can be tireless at work, school, family, with your friends, and definitely and most importantly by yourself. So then if we're talking about TDF, then the D being deft, what does it mean to be deft? Being deft is basically being sharp, being calculated, being strategic, being clever. You can be deft all the time, of course. And then what does it mean to be a finesser? Being a finesser, what it boils down is your ability to flip any situation to your advantage. Even if you get thrown into a situation where you're at a disadvantage, you're able to rework it and rewire the situation to where it's in your advantage. Or maybe you're sitting in a disadvantaged situation, you're still able to take certain bits and pieces of that situation that actually are an advantage to you. So yeah, that's what tireless is, that's what deft is, and that's what a finesser is. So what does it mean to be a tireless deft finesser? Basically, a tireless deft finesser has to have the king mentality. To be a tireless deft finesser, you have to think on the level of a king. You gotta have a king mindset. You can't be out here begging people to treat you better, treat you right, all this other shit. If you want something, you make a plan. If you want something, you make a plan to go get this shit, and then you go about actionizing that plan. So yeah, to be a tireless deft finesser, you definitely have to have a king mentality. A tireless deft finesser is basically anyone that persistently works to stay ahead of the game. So that could be from reading, that could be from refining a craft, that could be from just studying people, you know, things along those lines. I'm gonna start calling it a TDF now. So a TDF can see things before they happen. So basically, when you're studying shit, whether it be social dynamics or just certain situations that you're in, you should be able to, after you get a certain level of understanding and wisdom, you should be able to see things occur before they actually do happen in real time. And then a TDF is also anyone who is mastering or has mastered being a lone wolf or a tiger in the jungle. So basically, if you a true TDF, a true tireless deft finesser, you should be extremely comfortable with being by yourself. Now, I'm not saying you go out of your way to be by yourself. That's not what I'm saying. 'Cause everybody needs human interaction. Everybody needs to be around people. So yeah, it's definitely not a good idea to be going out of your way to be by yourself all the time. But at the same time, you want to be someone that is comfortable with being alone, comfortable with, you know what I'm saying, staying home maybe a Friday or Saturday night, just working on some shit, whether it be, I don't know, music or beat production or something with your computer, or, you know what I'm saying, you working on cars or something to where it's like it's something that you fuck with and it's a skill that you want to have as an adult or just in the near future. So, and in order to master anything, you got to be willing to spend time mastering it on your own. A TDF, basically as a TDF, you do the finessing. It's not the other way around. So if you a true TDF, like me, I'm a true TDF. Ain't nobody finessing me, period. It's not gonna happen. I do the finessing, I don't get finessed. And that's basically should be your mindset. So when you paying attention to certain things, paying attention to people, how they move, how they act, how they talk, you're gonna understand them. Hell, you sometimes understand people better than they understand themselves. So there's no way in hell you're gonna get finessed by them. And then also a TDF is someone that can break things down to their very foundation. So let's say, for example, let's say you're looking at a car, right? Most people just see the whole car, right? They see the car like, damn, that's a nice ass car. Well, if you're a TDF, you should be able to look at that car and just see all of its individual bits and pieces. And that's not to say as a TDF you gotta know about cars. That's just like a metaphor that I'm giving you. You can break things down to their foundation. So like, let's say when you in certain situations, maybe certain dynamics where you're dealing with people and they trying to disrespect you and shit, most of the time, and by most I really mean like 99.999% of the time, people are putting a facade, they're building an image and they're trying to play off of that image. You know what I'm saying? They don't even believe the image that they have, but they're trying to make you believe it. So if you run into somebody that's trying to give you a hard time and you understand that they're trying to be somebody else, you can break that shit down. You can break that shit down to them and everybody that's in that situation. That, yo, this nigga is a fraud. Get this nigga the fuck out of here. That's basically what I mean by breaking things down to their very foundation. Of course, like I said, a TDF can understand people and social dynamics. Oh yeah, this is an important one right here. As a TDF, you can't be getting emotional. You just gotta finesse accordingly. So you feel like you're in a situation where people aren't doing right by you, people are going out of the way to fuck you over. Don't stand there, get mad, and, you know what I'm saying, whine and bitch and complain, begging people to treat you better. Just understand the game. Just be thankful that you understand the game, understand the situation that you're in, and just begin to finesse accordingly. That's all being a TDF is about. And then lastly, the most important trait that a TDF has is that a TDF is someone who understands the Bible in its entirety. Now, I know I haven't been talking about the Bible that much, or really at all, with the first, I think this is the 10th video, so the first 9 videos that I've posted. But in the near future, I'm going to start breaking down biblical topics and stuff, and just biblical subjects. Basically, yeah, if you understand the Bible in its entirety, then you understand people, you understand women, men, you understand money, you understand relationships, like good or bad, you know, friends, foes, and you understand the laws of the Most High. You understand how everything is supposed to be. So you have that understanding, and I'm saying you've read the Bible from beginning to end. Not necessarily in that order, but you've read everything to where you understand the beginning, you understand where we are now, and you understand what's gonna happen. Dog, you cannot get finessed. Trust me, it's not gonna happen. The amount of wisdom you're gonna have is gonna be way too much for anybody, any average ass person to finesse you. So if you understand the Bible, you can biblically break down everything in this society. Okay, so some examples of TDFs would be so for those of you in school, let's say you get an assignment or a project, and then as soon as you get that project, you work on it and knock it out. Or whatever work that's given to you, and they're like, this is gonna be due. It's gonna be due 3 months from now. It's gonna be due 4 months from now. You just knock that shit out. That right there is a form of TDF, because you tirelessly worked to complete that assignment when you really didn't have to at that time, and now you can go on to doing some shit that you actually want to do. Another example would be, I think I already said this, but anybody that is very good at reading people and categorizing them. See, in this society, since everybody's promoted to act the same and be a certain way, and people actually fall for that, when you get into situations where people are acting funny, trying trying to be smart, trying to be slick and shit. If you just get really good at reading these people, you'll always be able to break a motherfucker down to where they not gonna want to fuck with you, and to where anybody that heard what you were saying, that motherfucker is not gonna want to fuck with you. So just being able to read people, that is a very good example of being a TDF. And then another example of a TDF would be someone that constantly competes with themselves. So they ain't worried about what everybody else is doing. They only worried about what they're doing. And I think I touched on this in my my video about confidence. Basically, when you start to only give a fuck about you and what you're doing, then the only person you have to compete with is yourself. You ain't competing with your siblings. You ain't competing with your friends. You're not competing with your family. You're only competing with yourself. You want to make sure that you outdo yourself from what you were doing last time. And then the last example, or I guess trait, of a TDF is somebody that doesn't mind standing apart from the crowd. So if you're someone who has a habit of always following people, always following trends, trying to be trendy and shit, this is something that you're gonna struggle with. I mean, you gotta learn to enjoy being you. You know, you gotta learn to enjoy being yourself, being somebody that's not like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? The more unique you are, the better. And like I said in one of my videos, as long as, you know what I'm saying, what you're doing is legal and it doesn't break the rules or the laws of the Most High, you good, man. Fuck what anybody else is saying. Just do you. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you were born and one day you will die. So you better spend your life doing what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be somebody else. Do not try to be somebody else, because that person that you're trying to be has already existed or already does exist. So there's no point in trying to be them. Be you, because one day your ass is going to die. So yeah, I mean, that's basically where my mind was as far as the whole TDF thing. I had to go ahead and drop the troublesome, man, because it was too many complications what came with trying to use that shit, trying to use that name. So I went ahead and dropped that. Now it's gonna be tireless definesser. And yeah, I'm definitely a tireless definesser. If you've been watching my videos up to this point, I'm assuming that you are too. And I just want to go ahead and just say thank you for anybody that's, you know what I'm saying, watching these videos. I already know my channel, my shit gonna blow up eventually. You know, it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might take a long ass time, but I know that as far as the shit that I'm talking about, as far as the way I'm describing it, as far as the labels that I'm using, my shit's gonna pop. So yeah, if you're here from the beginning, man, just remember this shit, you know what I'm saying? Remember the beginning, and let's enjoy the ride, and thanks again. Alright, y'all, it's your boy Def. I'm out. Y'all take it easy and y'all be safe out here.